Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with my friend, Bruce McCurdy. Welcome, Bruce.
Hey, David.
I guess the Oilers can't win them all. I guess there's some nights where we're going to have that old sinking feeling.
Had it tonight for most of the game, I got to say.
Yes, that was a tough one. The only, Koskinen looked like his old self, and it looked like they were going to win, but then all of a sudden, he wasn't his old self, and the Oilers lost, of course. What was it, 4-2? Yeah. Of course, Vancouver got the empty net goal about
2 seconds
after the Oilers pulled the goalie. Like that always happens. Oh, that is so frustrating.
Like the Bruce, shot was even going wide, and it hit Nugent Hopkins' stick and went in the net.
Two good things, two bad things, and two numbers podcast. What's your good thing?
Yeah, well, my good thing is actually two good things, but I'll let you have one also.
Go ahead.
My two good things are the play of Caleb Jones and Jesse Puljujärvi, the Oilers' youngest D-man and youngest forward, respectively, in this game. And I thought Jones in particular really impressed me with his skating legs, with his take charge attitude. That was what impressed me the most. Like, he just took over the play a few times, and they did a super highlight pack on Sportsnet after the first period, and that had a whole game's worth of good plays on it, just that one highlight pack alone. And then there were sequences later, like there was one where he jumped the puck right in front of Vancouver's net. The forward was waiting for it, and Jones just cut right in front of the guy and took it back hard to the net. And, life isn't very fair. Like in this game, Caleb Jones, this is actually a number, but it actually fits with this comment. When he was on the ice 16 minutes, the Oilers attempted 22 shots and Vancouver attempted 22 to 2. The shots on goal were 11-1 with Caleb Jones on the ice. Like, the Oilers dominated, and yet he wound up the night in the penalty box, taking the skate of shame after one goal, and then he got a -1 for his minor role in the empty net goal at the end. And that's all he had to show from a game where he was super. He was probably Oilers' best defenseman in this game.
Bruce, he had more than that to show for it. He earned the respect of his coach.
Yes, well, yes.
He was out there to score a goal at the end of the game because the coach figured, okay, here's the guy who might get one. He whiffed on a shot in the slot right near the end there. I can't remember who to put it over to him, but Bruce, it was light and day between him and Matt Benning. Benning was struggling, falling down, making mistakes all over the ice. Jones, this is 2 games into it, of course, but we did see him in preseason. We have seen him in Bakersfield.
This is the best
progressing. Easily. And if he can keep this up, I mean, this is that was just it. I want to contain my enthusiasm, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
He's clearly ahead to me right now. Matt Benning and Jason Garrison. If Chris Russell was to come back, you would not be taking Caleb Jones out of the lineup.
Not after tonight, he sure wouldn't.
He can skate at an NHL level, and he can pass the puck. And if he can just keep the play in front of him, that simple thing that Hitchcock asks of defensemen, and so far he has done that. He's going to stay in the lineup. We could be seeing Caleb Jones for not just for a little cameo here, but for the rest of the season and into the future, because the guy has such a great toolkit.
Yeah,
and he's got decent size, and this is exactly what the Oilers need, Bruce. This was the difference in the game in a lot of ways, was the back end moving the puck, and the Oilers had their usual struggles with that. But Jones is the guy. You have him on your third pairing this year. He's the guy that can ignite that, and I liked him in that game more than I've ever liked Ethan Bear in a game. And it's because of the toolkit. I like Bear's smarts and his kind of slick passing, but he just does not move like Caleb Jones does. And that's such a key part of the NHL game right now, is that skating ability. So there's my enthusiastic outburst.
And the defensive reads as well, which he showed in this game. Like, this is the best I've seen him play. He led the Oilers in shots tonight, 3. The only other guy on the team that had 3 shots was his partner, Kevin Gravel.
It wasn't bad either.
That duo, the puck was in Vancouver's end mostly when they were out there, or it was moving in that direction. And I mean, those shots, numbers are truly outstanding. But by eye, the guy had an outstanding game. And yes, Puljujärvi, just to get to the other one quickly, he was way more noticeable than he's been in most games. Really, it's like he was starting to make things happen, and he was making them happen by being aggressive, by bowling around the ice with the puck, but also without the puck, playing a little bit physically. He made a real nice check that was the beginning of the Nugent Hopkins goal. He didn't get an assist on the play.
And a nice pick play on that goal as well, Bruce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
In the spot.
And he threw his weight around a little bit. He got sucked into a very dubious penalty by the crafty veteran Elias Pettersson, who grabbed Puljujärvi by the arm and tumbled to the ice. And our good friend there, Mr. Kazari, decided that was a penalty against Edmonton. As we're seemingly we'll leave that for the bad thing. We're going to say nice things about those two guys, and I'll ask you what was your good thing.
Well, you've seen flashes from Puljujärvi, Bruce, in the past, right? We've seen flashes before. So what he needs to do is play this way consistently.
Mm-hmm.
He's finally finding a little rapport with Nugent Hopkins and Kara. They've been reluctant to give him the puck, to pass him the puck, but now that they were all working well together tonight. And Puljujärvi was really hustling. So it's just I would say keep that line together. And
sure.
Puljujärvi he could be such an effective hockey player. We see it in bursts. We see it for games. This was certainly one of those games. And some people don't wonder why he's up here. And I just say, thank God for Hitchcock saying, I want to work with this young player and turn him into a hockey player. That should be the attitude of the head coach. This is his third year in pro hockey. He's ready to be in the NHL. He's as good as any other winger that they have, not namely on Draisaitl, or maybe Chason. I mean, Chason has a unique kind of skill set right now, but he's as effective. I mean, he's more effective player than Milan Lucic by a mile. And Milan Lucic is going to be on your team. Well, if as long as Lucic is getting playing time, and he's Puljujärvi should be in there getting playing time. And if that's 12, 13 minutes a game at even strength, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
My good thing, Bruce, is Ken Hitchcock ripping on the refs. And finally,
good. Finally. High time somebody did.
Yeah, he basically said they were utterly ridiculous, not calling like the tug of war on McDavid, and how McDavid isn't behind the play, all this grabbing and clutching going on, and that wears down a player like McDavid, and he's not allowed to do a 2-on-1. It's two on two, and I think what is phrase two and hold or something like that. They just hold him. They don't let him advance. So I suspect Hitchcock will be fined for that. But
that's good.
We waited.
Let's set up a GoFundMe account.
Yeah, exactly. How long did you wait for Todd McClellan, Bruce, to say something like that?
3.25 years.
Yeah, and it was always, you got to suck it up and fight through it, and all this kind of old school. But
and that's true. I mean, the penalties killed him tonight, but the penalty killing killed him tonight, and I mean, the team has to take ownership of part of that. But 5 penalties to 1 in that game was a joke.
Total joke. Vancouver was all over them, hacking, hooking.
Passon got tripped into the boards on a penalty kill. Maybe if he broke his neck, it would have been a minor. And the one penalty they did get was Matt Benning got smashed in the teeth with a stick. They called that. They didn't call any of the stuff on Benning. And, the 5 penalties that the Oilers took, let's just say no Vancouver Canucks were harmed in the shooting of this video. And I mean, a couple were legit. Like Larson obviously shot the puck over the glass, and that's a penalty. The too many men ice is obviously a penalty. They screwed up. The other puck over glass penalty, where the Vancouver guy lifted the player's stick and the puck went rocketing over the glass, and of course they scored on the power play. And I mean, he didn't even shoot it. He didn't provide any of the momentum. He had his stick lifted, and the puck went off his stick. And some people thought it even hit the glass on the way out, and they missed that too. And then the other 2 penalties, the one on Puljujärvi that I mentioned earlier, and the one on Jones that got mentioned earlier, both times, to me, it was the Canuck taking advantage of the Oilers' position, and he just grabbed on and took a tumble and drew the call, which would be fine if they were ever calling anything the other way, but it was this the whole night
Peterson,
when an Oiler was getting fouled or checked.
that was a very crafty move by Elias Pettersson. I have to give him credit because that was a
Yeah.
total.
They say the veterans get the calls, eh? I guess 30-game veterans get the calls now.
Yeah. What's your bad thing, Bruce? Or did you just give it?
Well, it's a smorgasbord. The ice on Vancouver was the shits. Like the puck was bouncing and nobody could handle the damn puck. The Oilers sticks, I mean, it looked like they took their sticks out of a colander and they'd all been boiled like spaghetti, and the puck was just flubbing through their sticks. Darnell Nurse, I don't know how many times he whiffed. Adam Larson, he nearly whiffed one right to Brock Besser.
And Draisaitl, the same thing.
Draisaitl stick was just, so bad sticks, bad ice, bad refs, bad penalty calls, bad penalty killing, bad goaltending on the penalty kill. Got to say, Koskinen wasn't
great. Now you're getting into my bad thing.
Bad. I'll take out of all that list. I'll take bad penalty killing. You know, when you outscore the other team 2-0 at even strength, and you lose the game in regulation because you can't kill a damn penalty, then your penalty killing unit's got to own it.
And I will reference the old hackneyed cliche of your best penalty killer has got to be your goalie, because Mikko Koskinen was not that tonight. Now, on the first one, Besser's goal,
that was
Garrison got to have his stick on puck. Yeah, what is he doing? Like, you're just
backing in and just letting a high quality sniper get a shot from well inside the face-off circle. At some point, you got to stand the guy up, don't you?
Yeah, I don't see Garrison as an NHL player. I haven't all year, and this was further evidence of that. Like, he can hang in there barely, kind of. But man, he's got to get stick on puck. Now, that said, Koskinen should have that shot. He should have had that shot, and he should have had Pettersson's shot too. That was an outside shot. He was well over there in position, and he just beat him high glove side. The goalie has got to make that save, and if he doesn't, you're going to lose the game. So two pretty, Koskinen's been playing lights out, but the Oilers did not get better goaltending this game, and that's why they lost.
All three were outside shots that beat him glove side.
The slap shot, that was a little tougher, like coming in there, teeing it up like from that spot. That was a little. I counted that one. I think I might have counted that one as a grade A shot, because it's coming up from, he's tracking the puck, and it's just totally teed up. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what Draisaitl was doing on that play. Like, he was just he was slow to that. That's, how can you have that shot, that slow developing shot on a certain level? Draisaitl was just out of position on it, and Larson might have blocked the pass out or blocked the shot, but he did neither. And then Koskinen flubbed it. So anyway, it wasn't his best game, and that's going to happen to any goalie, and it's why the Oilers, I think it was the big reason the Oilers lost the game, is they didn't get the goaltending tonight. Bruce, what is your number?
My number is 22-4, and that is the number of block shots in this game. Vancouver got in the way of 22 Edmonton drives, and they competed and contested against Edmonton shots in their territory. Edmonton blocked a measly 4 shots, just one each by 4 different defensemen, and none at all otherwise. And they got beat on 3 outside shots. Like Garrison, that one was an obvious example of a guy that needs to be in the shooting lane. Like, if you're not going to stand the guy up, at least you need to be in the damn shooting lane, and he wasn't. And as you say, Draisaitl, who had a very bad game in my view, was late to Edler on the first goal. And the Pettersson goal, Cassian was watching his eyes and playing pass, and did nothing to contest the shot. And anyway, those were the goals. But all game, the Oilers just weren't filling the shooting lane. So despite the fact that Edmonton had 52 shot attempts to 45, a nice edge, they actually got soundly outshot 30-22.
The grade A chances, Bruce, were 6-6, but 3 of Vancouver's goals came on two grade B chances and 1 grade C chance, the empty net goal. Mm-hmm. So, but the actual grade A chances were 6-6. that I
Yeah.
counted.
Did I really see 0-0 in the first period? Am I
You
reading this
did?
right?
I didn't see one. I didn't see a grade A chance. That's the first time I think I've ever seen. Bruce, I've been doing this every single game since for a long freaking time. Since
Well, of course, we used to do grade B chances as well. So, but there's usually
yeah,
at
there
least
might
one or
that's
two
true.
grade A chances in a period. But
Yeah,
first period was fast paced, and it wasn't bad hockey. Actually, it was probably the best period of the three. But not much was getting through. That's for sure.
that's what Hitchcock said. Best period. Anyway, so my number is 1, and that is representative of between Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. They were able to make one major contribution to a grade A scoring chance. And Bruce, I'll tell you what, if that's what Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid do in a game, the Oilers are going to lose. So like it's the Oilers' big guns were outperformed tonight. Koskinen, McDavid, Draisaitl, they were outperformed. You could play Larson, Nurse, you could extend that to the defense by Vancouver's big guns. They just got outplayed, and as simple as that. And the one for McDavid was, of course, the goal in the third period. So that was pretty good. So he gets a point. But man, Draisaitl was just terrible. If you're a Draisaitl hater tonight, if you're a Draisaitl hater tonight, you're going, yep, that's why.
Usually he makes a few mistakes and he makes more than enough good plays to overcome it. Well, tonight the good plays were very few and far between, and the mistakes were just too many. Oilers. I tweeted about 5 seconds before the Chason goal that entire line of McDavid, Draisaitl, and Chason had 0 shots on net for the entire game to that point.
Wow.
McDavid got 1, and he ended the game with 1. Draisaitl with none. Chason with just the 1 that was the goal. So they got 2 on that one shift, and that was it for the whole game. Mind you, I mean, let's remember one thing. The Oilers got 1 power play in this game, which was horrible, but they never got a second chance to sort of get their stuff together after the.
Yeah, that power play was just getting going. When Nurse had a chance to shoot and he flubbed it.
Yeah, well, that was the wet noodle sticks they had all night. Man, it was really noticeable to me how many times they just whiffed on the puck.
So what's the Oilers' record now, Bruce? 18 wins, 16 losses. Is that
18, 13, and 3. So yes. And today was a very bad day in oil country. Calgary won, Vancouver won, Las Vegas won, San Jose won, Edmonton lost. That was all the Pacific Division teams. So Oilers lost 2 points to 4 teams and a game in hand to the other 3 teams. That is a bad day.
That is the definition of a bad day. And so much for the Pacific Division being the NHL's weak sister, man.
They were showing this list at the end, Anaheim 8-1-0, Calgary 8-1-1, Edmonton 8-1-1. I'm going, geez, I thought the Pacific Division was supposed to suck. Everywhere I'm reading, the Oilers have an easy pass to playoffs because the division sucks. And you turn around, and half the teams are bloody 8-1 in their last 10 games.
Yeah, we should be in that division with like Philadelphia and New Jersey and some of those teams. Well, let's leave it there, Bruce. When do they play next?
Tuesday night.
And who are they against?
That's a good question. You got me.
I count on you to know these things.
That's next week, David.
That is.
I just got as far. I should know these things, but I'll tell you in half a second. But it's Tuesday and it's a home game. I do know that much, and it is against. Results. Let's bring it up. It is against St. Louis. It's a home game against St. Louis. Then they play. It's actually a 5-game homestand. They play Tampa Bay on the 22nd. They actually get 3 days off, and they play Tampa Bay. Then they get 4 days off, and then they're back into the every other day stuff again. Right after Christmas, they play Vancouver, San Jose, Winnipeg back to back.
So just in time for Andrej Sekera to return to the team after Christmas, Bruce.
Well, they could use him if we get the good Andrej Sekera. I can't wait to have that guy back.
Bruce, you're asking for too much. I'm hoping that the Caleb Jones can step. I think there's a better bet that Caleb Jones is going to be a major contributor this year than Andrej Sekera.
I'd say there's a 90 to 95% chance that Sekera will be better than he was last year, but as big a chance or more that
that is damning with faint praise,
Bruce. Be as good as he was 2 years ago. His drop off last year coming back from the injury. It was one of the most extreme I've ever seen.
Yeah, he went from being like a decent kind of number one-ish defenseman in the NHL on a good team to being maybe the worst defenseman on a bad team. Maybe the worst defenseman in the league.
Pretty close. Like it was awful to watch. I'm a fan of the guy, and he just never got it together. And then he lost his confidence probably a little bit too. And
I hope Chiarelli is telling these new coaches that listen, we made a huge mistake last year. We rushed this guy back. Now, the good news is because Caleb Jones and Kevin Gravel are playing well. Now the question is, they trust Weidman enough to put him in there now and then instead of Garrison, because I don't see. Maybe they'll try to get by with Garrison, and it's not a total disaster. Usually he's a very safe hockey player. If you don't ask him to do too much, he's a safe-ish hockey player. But
or maybe they make the call to Sweden and bring over Joel Persson, who they do have rights of recall on. They got to be thinking about that at this point.
Oh, that'd be awfully risky, Bruce.
Well,
they go with Caleb
riskier
Jones
than playing Jason Garrison.
No, he'd get their power play going. The guy's ripping it up in the Swedish league in the last month. He's been getting a point a game, I think, pretty much. He was off to a slow start, and he's just going like gangbusters last time I checked.
Yeah, he was this SHL Player of the Month in November. The whole league, he was the Player of the Month. So he's got his game going. And I mean, David, I came across a lineup that I made last June of the Oilers roster. And this was guys under contract at the time. And they had 4 defensemen under contract, and they were all $4 million players. They hadn't re-signed Nurse or Benning yet. And so this was their defense as listed: Sekera, Klefbom, Russell, and Larson. Right now they got Larson.
Yeah.
And
if Russell comes back, the pressure to get Sekera in the lineup, and with Jones, let's see how Jones can do. I mean, it's again now I am gonna contain my enthusiasm. It's just been 2 games, so we need to see more.
Well, really, one game. I mean, the first game he played very cautiously. Tonight,
I liked it.
Over the ice, he was awesome. I was totally impressed with his game. His first game, I was impressed by the number of mistakes he didn't make. But tonight, I was impressed by the number of very positive plays that he did make. And he was a real positive force in this game, and that was a real boost to see. We'll see if that's. I mean, he's not going to play that good every night, but because. Who does? But he was on top of his game. And it translated into the NHL, at least as far as Vancouver and Edmonton, very well indeed.
And good for Jay Woodcroft playing him on the right side. I mean, finally, I'm coaching the minors, who's thinking ahead and getting it right. Because I remember watching Griffin Reinhart when he was down the AHL, and I'm thinking, why isn't he on the right side? You know, like. The Oilers have this gaping hole there. Why don't they play him on the right side? Like, train him, because he's not going to make it. He's not going to beat all these guys on the left side. But they never did, and good. So they got it right with Jones. He's looked good on the right side. I mean, he hasn't looked out of place at all. He's fast enough that he doesn't get killed. You know, Russell gets killed a little, I think, because of that. But Jones seems to anyway. 2 games. Let's leave it at there. Bruce, let's leave the podcast here tonight. So thanks for talking tonight.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.